Alright, so for those of you that haven't yet subscribed, this is another reminder to hit the subscribe button. It costs nothing, but it means the world to me. Okay, thank you to all the subscribers and my supporters on Patreon. Now at this point, one thing we've forgotten is when marking, we have that auto mark button, which will help the teachers get their work done much quicker, so that when they click a button, they can mark some of the multiple choice questions and save some time. Yes. So let's see how we can implement that, but we need a test to mark here. So let's I'm logged in as a teacher, so you can log in as any of your teachers, and let's create a test. That way we have something to mark. Yes. So let's go to one of these classes. Now I can use tests as well these are tests. Let me go to classes. So general knowledge class. Let's go to this one, shall we? And we go to tests, and let's add a new test. So this one, I'm just going to call it math test. A test in math, of course. Now let's write something like grade 7 test in math. Create. Yes. Okay, so at least we created that. And if I click on it now, I can start adding some questions. So it's not published yet, so which means I can add some questions. So just to make sure that things are working as intended. So student scores nothing, view class, we come back here, and we can click back on the math test, and everything looks good. So let's add a couple of questions here, not too much, just enough for us to test what we need to. So here we will add one of each of these tests. So let's start with a multiple choice question. Let's see. What is 5 times 6? Like this. Okay, so the correct answer is, let's try 12, let's try 30, and oh, we still need to fix this issue here. We will fix it later. So A, B, correct answer is B, of course. And yeah, let's save question. Okay, so 2 multiple choice here. You can add as many as you want. Let's add another one, shall we? What is 20 by 30? This should be 600 if I'm not mistaken, but let's add more choices first. And let's do 100, 200, well, maybe 100, 300, and then 600. Correct answer be here, and let's save that question. Okay, so we have 2 questions at least. Now let's add a few from the other side. Let's try an objective question as well. So add objective question. Okay. Can chickens fly? Yeah, so any questions here? Correct answer is no. And let's save that question. So save. Okay, let's add one subjective question. Explain the process of maybe something like explain the rain cycle. So here we can put an answer because it's an explanation, of course. Let's save. Then let's put one more again, which has an objective answer like this one. So one more objective here. And what questions can we, something that is very objective. Is the sun a star? The answer be yay. So save that question. Okay, so at least we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions here, which is awesome. Now the teacher needs to publish this, so let me publish this right now. So everybody in the class should be able to see this test and take it. Pretty good. So let's go back to the class and see which students are in this class, and I want both of these guys to take this test. So what I will do now is log in as Jane and log in as Guy as well, so that both can take the test and we can have several tests to mark at the same time. So let me start with Jane. Let me see the profile for the email address. That way I am sure. Let's copy that and log out, paste, and let's add our password, which is password. Then I will go to tests, and these are the tests I'm eligible to answer. This one I've answered 100%. This one I have not. Okay. So yes, we should probably put an alert system here as well for the students. And then math test, this one is 0%. So let me take this test. This one right here should also have an order by ID. So let's look at tests.php here. Let's see if that is even possible. Let's see, tests.php. So of course we are not an admin, so it's this section we're looking at. And finally, let's see here. Yeah, so this is the thing, because we are simply adding these to let's see, selector from tests where disabled. Class ID, where is class ID coming from? Oh, this is the search, so this doesn't count. What counts is this query right here. Okay, so selector from tests where disabled and class ID is equal to class ID. So this is from tests, yes. So better to order by ID descending right here, and for each yes, so this here won't actually matter. Student classes, where is this? I'm looking for this item here that we are doing a for each loop, and the query is right here. So this query already does a, no, it doesn't do an order by ID or anything like that. Let me check the model.php just to see what query. Oh, query is actually in the database. So that's the function right there, and there is data type. So here, because we are running an actual query, so that does not matter. So the query is here, and this is the query that we are running. So let me move this order up here. Yes, let's go up there. So because if this result is ordered, then it's going to be ordered when we are doing the for each loop, which will mean we don't need to. Because the reason why the order by ID here won't work is because we are looping through an item that is already unordered and getting one item at a time. So that becomes difficult to order things. Better we order from here. I don't know if this is going to work at all, but it's worth a test, and it did not work. So, which means we need a better way to get our tests from here, and we will refactor this code eventually. So let's just take the test for now, and let's see here. So answered 0%. Let's see, what is 5 by 6? That's 30. What is that by that? That's so I want to set 1 to the wrong answer, just so I can see if it will detect that. And do can chickens fly? Let's try and write in capital letters. Let's say no. And of course, let's save these answers. And let me go to the next page. Explain the rain cycle. It produces rain. And is the sun a star? And we say yes, but let's write no, just to see what we will get as the answer. So this test has not yet been submitted. Okay, cool, but let's submit it now. Click. Are you sure? Yes. Okay, so the test has been submitted. That's cool. Let me log out and log in as Guy at yahoo.com, and let's put a password. So we're going to assume Guy is a much better guy at answering these questions. So 30, 600, chickens fly, no. Save answers. Let's move to the next, and here explain the rain cycle. I would just write rain cycle because this one is not part of the answering thing, auto answer thing, so not an issue. Let's put yes here on, in fact, let's put capital S, small letters there, just for some variation. And so we've answered, and let's submit. Yes. So back here, let's log out and log in as Mr. Vibe at yahoo.com and password. So now we have something to mark here. So the problem is we only have one item here, and yet we are supposed to have 2 items. All right, so let's check it out in the next video and see what's wrong here. Why do I get only one result and not the other? Because I know for a fact there are 2 students that took this test, and so I should see 2 results. Let's confirm that by going to answered tests. Let's see if there are 2 tests that have not been submitted, and there we go. So marked 00, submitted yes, and they are the same test ID, so which means I should see both of these in my list here. So let's do a brief check to see what's going on in the controller for toMark, because something weird is happening here. So if I go back to the toMark controller here, what's happening is that in the index, if you're not an admin, things are not so straightforward. First of all, what we are doing here is we are getting we are reading from the table. This is the one where we're trying to find out what classes belong to this lecturer, right? So toMark can only be seen by lecturers and admins. So obviously there are no students here. So the table is class lecturers that we are looking in. So we're reading all contents of there where our user ID is the currently logged in user. So this is the lecturer, and we're trying to get all the classes that they preside over. That way we don't give them toMark tests that they didn't create. So this is what we are doing on this code right here. Forget about this one because this is for the search. We'll deal with this later. So once we get the classes will be in here. These are the class, actually, where is the result of this? It's right here. So these are the classes that we want, okay? And then once we get the classes, then we get all tests that belong to all these classes that are for this user. And then once we get all the tests, then we single out only the tests that have not been marked, and then we display them. So where the problem here is, I think, is that if, let's say, I get, let's go back to the, we're going to go to answered tests here, or answered tests, yes. So what's happening here is that if, for example, I read like 10 tests which belong to all the classes that this lecturer is running or is presiding over, then I'll have to read through each of those test IDs and see if it's marked here, and then I display it. Now, for some reason, because maybe we have limit 1 here, this is limiting what we can retrieve. But at the end of the day, this whole process is way too long. We can actually simplify this a whole lot using queries. Okay, so instead of having all these loops here and looping through that, we can get rid of these. We can leave the one where we read the class IDs maybe, but I think we can combine everything here into a single query. That way we can have, I think it will make a lot more sense. So in the next video, I want to show you how we can change all this into a single query. I'll see you then.